You're in for a treat.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays.
2 West.
6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
We got new hours because we're nerdish.
And we're in our 20s despite our looks, so we gotta do things in the evening time over the summer.
Correct, but not too late because, as Levi said, we're in our mid-20s.
Not our early 20s.
And not our late 20s, the mid-20s.
So, yes, we're the Goldilocks of 20s.
That's right, I shouldn't have laughed. I gotta keep it cool, because this is our intro rap, where we keep things cool.
We're very cool, so cool we might want a dance break.
Hey, thanks for watching our dance break.
Now, back to the really serious stuff.
Like Brady
And Levi.
and Brady too. We're the 3 members of the Nerdish crew.
That was perfect. We didn't plan that.
Not at all. We don't plan anything. If you couldn't tell by this rap. That was the one thing we rhymed.
That was the one thing.
Which makes it a rap.
Yes, all raps have one rhyme.
We'll see you on 2 West.
Yes, 2 West.
7:30 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Keep watching, because it'll turn into us, but probably not wearing the wigs.
Yes, and we'll be much more responsive to whatever you have to say.
You could ask us questions right now. We will not answer them.
Also, we take no responsibility for anything we've done in this pre-recorded session.
Yes. Any lost items, Nerdish is not responsible.
Right, we don't have anything to do with it. We're very different people in the present than we are from when we're recording this video. You might say we are the pupae of Nerdish right now, and in the future we will be the moths.
The
Because moths are the
disgusting
most-
gray moths.
Yes, those gray moths that you hear, they're
Yeah.
like the bats of the flying community.
The wings are leathery. They're leathery wings.
Very leathery.
They're basically butterflies, but we hate them.
Yes.
They're the rodents of butterflies.
This is true.
Right?
Just like the ACT is the rodent of the SAT.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Hey, welcome. Hey, we already have a couple viewers here. That's exciting. Aren't
Hello.
you excited?
Yeah.
You don't seem excited.
It's because,
That's because what?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, nerdish. It's what we do for very few people with a lot of our time. Hey! How's everybody doing? Today we're doing whatever you want us to do, but that includes ACT math. Hence the title, Beep Boop, ACT math. You ever wonder what Christopher Walken would sound like as a robot?
No.
Do you want to know? Beep Boop. Hono, what are you doing here? Hello, Hono. Hono's here.
Hey, Ono.
Welcome, Hono. I don't think we've met before. Have we had Hono on the show before?
No. Hono, you're new.
Hono is so new.
Do you have any questions?
Are you just here to chat? Just chatting? Got any questions for us? Hono, you just kind of put us on in the background and just like fold laundry or something? That's how I imagine a lot of people do it. Heck, that's what I would do. Lord knows I got a lot of laundry to fold. I've been procrastinating on studying for the ACT for the longest.
Aww.
Hono is the one that's been procrastinating for the longest. There's no one else that's been procrastinating longer than Hono. That's pretty amazing. Ugh. You want to do this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is from the Reddit ACT, and the question is, how do I do 67 and then how do I do problems like it later? I think that's the question. Give me a hot sec. Ah, there we are. Yeah. Okay, great. So, in 60, so ACT, Hono, why don't you, tell us some questions you want to talk about. How is it going for you, and what have you done or what haven't you done? What do you want to do with us, basically? Okay, so 67. This question is, okay, we're deleting the preceding sentence. You don't even have to consider it as adding or deleting anything, right? You're not making a choice. All you're saying is what has been lost, which is basically saying what does this sentence say, because if we take it away, then we lose that thing that it says. So the approach to these questions is every single time you need to eliminate answers. Do not look for an answer that says everything that this sentence says. Try to poke holes in the wrong answers and just, try to make them wrong. So answer choice A is, I got to read it over here. Suggestion, so we're going to, okay, let's actually read the sentence first. That would make sense. So it's the sentence before number 47, which is 67, my bad. So Leonardo himself never actually built his parachute. Sure. So answer choice A. So we are going to lose something where this sentence says that it's a suggestion that Leonardo's parachute was ultimately credited to a different inventor. Maybe, but this sentence is just saying that Leonardo never built his parachute. And it says it's his. So I don't know how somebody else would be credited by that. That doesn't make sense. So I don't like A. And I'm going to give the answer choices here. I'm not going to write them, but I want to show you, because I can't write on this overlay here. But suggestion that Leonardo's parachute was ultimately credited to a different inventor. I don't like different. So I would, in that answer choice, I would cross off the word different. Nothing in this sentence suggests that somebody else got credited. It's only suggestion. It's saying that Leonardo didn't build it, but it's not saying somebody else got credit for inventing it. So let's go to B. We have a description of obstacles Leonardo faced when attempting to construct his parachute. Okay, there is no description. I don't like that word. Or maybe this whole phrase, description of obstacles. I don't like that. That's what I would cross off in B. He didn't do it, and you can assume that there were obstacles, sure, but this sentence does not describe those obstacles. So you can't be losing that. Okay, if we take it away, we would primarily lose a clarification that Leonardo's parachute was theoretical. Okay, I like the word theoretical because he never actually built it. Doesn't mean that it never existed or the idea didn't. So I like circling words I like. Doesn't mean the answer is right. But circle and cross off things in the in the actual wordage of the answers, not just A, B, C, and D, because then you can't go, when you're going back, if you have to return to the question or when you're studying, this is a better way to show yourself very quickly, this is what I was thinking specifically on this question, or on this answer choice. Okay, D. We have, it would lose a detail that reveals the impracticality of Leonardo's parachute. Okay, it does not reveal the impracticality, because it says the impracticality. It's just, all this sentence up here is saying is that he didn't build it. We don't have any information about what was impractical. So I don't like reveals, because it doesn't reveal anything. Reveals the impracticality. Don't like that. So I would say the answer choice is C. To recap this question type, you don't have to think about, okay, does this transition nicely to something else? That's not what you're doing. This is what one of the types of questions is a direction questions. That's the big umbrella type of question. It tells you what to do. So if we delete the sentence, what do we lose? Which basically says, what does this sentence say? Then you go through the answer choices and you pick things that are wrong or that are not supported. This question very specifically says the essay would primarily lose what? Okay, A, a suggestion that somebody else was credited as the inventor, or the parachute was credited to somebody else. That's not terrible. I honestly think that you could maybe take that and then imply that A is correct, or that A is actually what it's saying. It's not the primary loss, though, when you lose this sentence. I think the theoretical thing is a more direct line to that sentence. So the approach is get rid of answer choices, specific words or phrases that you do not like, cross out things you don't like, circle things you do like specifically, don't cross out or circle answer choices. Okay? That's how I would approach these questions. Okay, please ask me more questions. This was from the ACT. Brady, could you link this to the ACT? It's one of the most recent questions.
Link it to the ACT?
Yeah, sorry, on the ACT Reddit.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Are you logged in on Reddit on your computer?
Yeah. Okay, did we do this question yesterday? No.
So what you just did, I'm putting that on the question.
Yeah,
okay.
Link it with the timestamp.
Yeah.
Did you do this absolute value meme question yesterday?
No, I did not.
You did not. Okay, let's do that. Hey meme, are you here? We'll tell you to look back if you're not. But say hi if you are, and then ask us questions. More questions. Okay, so this is in our Discord. This is an absolute value question. I like this type of question because it helps us show how to approach math questions generally. Lovely. Okay. This is one of those questions that you don't know necessarily how to solve the question. And that's a totally understandable struggle to have with this type of thing. But whenever, this is why recognition on the ACT and SAT is so important. And this is SAT or ACT, either test could ask this question. They are asked, this is clearly an absolute value question, right? You're probably not doing trig on this, you're not doing circles, it's absolute value. So you need to bring to the forefront of your mind what absolute value means and any things that are very, very important to understand about absolute value stuff. So the question is, which of the following expressions is equal to -5 for some value of x? Okay, this is not asking you to solve for x. This is not asking you to, that's basically, like, we're used to saying, okay, solve for x with this given equation. These are expressions that we're setting equal to -5, so then you would have an equation with an absolute value sign in it. But it's not asking to solve for x, it's asking which of these could be equal to -5 for some value of x. This is where the forefront of your mind with absolute value things has to come in. That's why recognition is so important. Don't just try to figure out what to do, just right off the bat, like, oh, do I know what to do? No? Okay, I'm cooked, I'll move on. Absolute value stuff. How do we approach this? Well, absolute value means that you take the magnitude of something. You just make it positive. Whatever is inside the absolute value, overall, you make it positive. Which means that the absolute value of anything, so let's say the absolute value of A, must be greater than or equal to 0. Always, right? That is the underlying knowledge that we have about absolute value symbols. Which means that if we are trying to set any of these expressions equal to -5, but all of those absolute value pieces must be 0 at the very least, none of them can be negative, then we have to subtract a lot to get down to -5. So let's just look at answer choice A for a second. A is saying we have x minus 6, absolute value of that, which must be greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, and then we add 2 to it. Well, that doesn't make any sense because we could not possibly get to 5. So there's no value of x that could make that true, right? X being -50 million, doesn't matter, right? So A is wrong for that reason. Then we have B, which is circled, so that's nice. X minus 2, absolute value of that, which could be 0 at the very smallest, and then we subtract 6. That's actually pretty good, right? Because if we subtract 6 from something that's at least 0, we could get to -5. We can't do C for the same reason we can't do A. And we can't do D because it doesn't subtract enough to get down to -5 because that absolute value thing has to be at least 0. Please let me know if that doesn't make sense. Please ask more questions in our Discord, in the SAT Discord, in the ACT Discord, on Reddit. Just mention us so that we see it and we can answer your questions. Or you can just ask questions in chat on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, wherever you are. I assume you're not on Facebook. But if you are, please ask questions. Let me prove this to you. So we have x minus 2 minus 6 equals -5. So we have to, this must have some solution for x. Well, this means that we have x minus 2, absolute value of that, sorry, equals, add 6 to both sides, and we get 1. That means that x minus 2 equals 1, or x minus 2 equals negative 1. So this is true. We can get x equals 3 or x equals 1. So those are our two possible values for x. Let's do one of the ones that doesn't work. And you still have to have the same underlying understanding of absolute value, otherwise you could end up with the wrong answers. So we have x, or absolute value of x minus 6 plus 2 equals negative 5. Then you would get absolute value of x minus 6 equals negative 7. You have to realize at this point that you can't do this. This is impossible. You can't take the absolute value of something and get negative 7, so it's no good. There's no way to solve these and not realize that and get the question right without guessing. Okay. I hope this approach made sense. Always recognize what type of math you're doing, because then you can point your mathiness at that concept. Bring up those concepts in mind. If you have triangles, you're going to maybe be doing trig. You're going to maybe be doing isosceles triangles, right triangles. You're going to have triangle inequality theorem. We said trig. There's Pythagorean theorem. There's 30, 60, 90 triangles, 45. There are all those different things, right? Bring those to your mind. They don't help you on this problem. That's absolute value. Okay, I have talked enough about that.
I want to do something.
Okay, Bird. Do you have a question that you found?
I'm not. No, it's you.
Oh, got it. Let me find another question. That's not what we want. Ooh, it's very red. Let's see. I don't like that person's answer too much. Oh no, that's actually fine. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to do that one. Okay, please ask your questions while I look for more. But I'd prefer to do questions that are from people who are watching. Oh no, if you're still here, do you have any general thoughts or things you want to know about the ACT? Like what you should be studying but's really hard for you, but is really hard. I just contracted but and is. Said but's really hard for you.
There you go.
Which is useful. Are you allowed to just contract words together and not tell anyone?
I think you have to tell someone.
You have to tell someone?
Yeah, there's a government authority you have to talk to.
Okay, got it. Okie dokie.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go, look at the Christmas tree. It's next to the Christmas tree. With Christmas trees and Christmas trees. And
Okay, looks like ACT's. I'm not gonna do that. Let's go to the SAT. See what's doing over there. Okay, Bert, I'm having trouble finding questions.
Oh.
Or at least on the Reddits. I haven't checked the Discords at the moment. I could.
Go to the Discords then. Go to the Discords.
Oh yeah? Let's do some ACT Discord stuff. That's weird. Okay, I got no questions for you, Bird.
Come on.
Okay, so if you're watching, please ask us questions. Otherwise, we're going to have to make them up fully, which is not necessarily the most fun thing to do. But we will. Don't think we won't. You did this function notation one, right? Oh, that was last Thursday. We definitely did that.
Give us your questions. Give them to us.
You're tired, you're masses.
Your weak and huddled masses.
Yes.
Yearning to answer our questions. I'll do that one.
There are already answers, though. 6
I know.
pounds.
Just people are watching right now and they're like, why aren't these guys doing anything?
Because they're not asking questions.
Because they're not watching.
It's probably true.
There's 3 people watching and one of them is probably your father.
All 3 of them are probably my father.
Is he still watching us?
I don't know.
Why don't you talk to him?
I only talk to him through here because that's the only way it's comfortable for us to interact.
That's something right there. That's very much something. What do you guys want to know? Huh? You want to know about pH? You want to know about inequalities? You want to know about income inequalities? You want to know about social studies, the Constitution, the Declaration? We can talk about all of it.
Oh, you know the PSAT subreddit.
Perhaps not from the most informed perspective, but we'll try.
No, nobody's asking questions here that are doable. Okay.
Levi,
What, Bird?
I want something fun.
Yeah, you want something fun?
Yes. Here, how about this? Whoa.
You want to do something from there, huh?
I think so.
Oh, go for it, Bird. Bet you can't do number 3.
Wow, it's A. I'm not going to do that one. Let's see.
Enjoy that, Bird.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
If you are watching, please ask your questions. It's better that way.
It's much better.
It's much better that way.
For everyone.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Enjoy that, Bird.
Number 9, or as the Beatles say, number 9. Just repeat it. The figure below A is parallel to B. What is the value of Z? Very interesting. Well, we got parallel lines A, B. We got 2 transversals. 2 transversals. Interesting. All right. I may not know how I'm going to get to Z, but I'm just going to fill in as many angles as I can while I still have time on this planet. That is my goal. All right, so this right here is 120. I know that because it is a vertical angle with 120 right here. And then these are going to have to be supplementary, so they're going to have to be 60. So this right here is going to be 60. And this over here, just inside here in this little triangle, is also going to be 60. All right, good. Now, we can only consider one transversal at a time. So this one right here, forget about it. Just look at this one right here, okay? Using this little intersection of angles, let's put as many of these as we can over here. So 60 is this top right, and x would be in the corresponding part. So x right there is 60, and then z is the vertical to x. So z is also 60. And with that, we are donezo. Oh, geez. I forgot how hard it was to use these transparent. Try to get it all lined up. Yeah, let's keep going. 12. A jar contains blue, red, and green marbles. The ratio of blue to red to green is 3 to 5 to 4. What is the probability that a marble chosen at random is not red? Not red. Well, we got a ratio here. Can you trust a ratio? In some cases, yes. Ratio does not mean these are the absolute numbers. It could be. It could be 3, 5, and 4, but it's like a simplified fraction. However, in this case, there's no downside to just assuming that they're 3, 5, and 4. That's fine. Probability ends up being a simplified fraction anyway, so we might as well just use the most simplified version that we can from the very start. So we have, they deal us blue to red to green. So B to R to G. B to R to G. They tell us that it is 3 to 5 to 4. 3, 2, 5, 2, 4. Those are the absolute numbers. Then the total is going to be 12. Total is going to be 12. All right, so what is the probability that a marble chosen at random is not red? There are two paths we can go down. We can consider what other marbles that are not red. There are the blue ones and the green ones. How many of those are there? There are 3 and there are 4. So in total, there are 7 that are not red. Therefore, not red, this marble is red, not, would be 7 over 12. And you could say you're done. Now there is one more thing you could do, which, this is a very simple problem, so I don't think you need to do it, but it's good for more complex problems. It's the general idea in probability. Probability of not red would be equal to 1, and by 1 you can think of 100%, minus the probability of it being red. Because it's either red or not red. And if the chances of something is 20%, the chances of that thing not happening is 80%. Every probability has to add up to 100% for a given event with multiple outcomes. Okay? So in this case, 1 minus probability of red. There are 5 reds in a total of 12. 1 minus 5 over 12. And lo and behold, that also gives us 7/12. All right? Very exciting. TBS, very funny. Let's see what else we got here.
All right, Bert, I got one for you.
Do you now?
I do, but you have to do it in a very specific way.
Of course. Where do I get this question?
Go to the ACT Discord. Sort by new.
Okay. Discord. Sort by new. You mean ACT Reddit?
Yeah, what'd I say?
Discord.
Yes.
You're already throwing me off, Levi.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. ACT. I'm sorting it by new. Where do I go?
So go down. Wait. Go down. Yeah, this. No, that was it. That question. But they specifically want, if you scroll up to the title, they want how to tackle further questions like this. So it's approach to this type of question.
Oh,
Somebody already explained how to do it, which is not that useful.
Right.
Because this is a very hard question.
Very
I think there are a lot of moving parts. So
a lot of bells and whistles. A lot of smoke and mirrors.
so many smokes, so many mirrors.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a limit to the amount of smoke and mirrors someone can handle.
Yeah, the number of smokes and mirrors. Actually, no. Amount of smoke and mirrors. That's fine, Bird.
Amount of smoke and number of mirrors. How's that?
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
Very good, Bird.
Do you mind if I do this one?
I don't mind. Do you mind?
Lyanne has 6.5 yards of ribbon she will use to make bows. That's fun. She'll use 3/4 of a yard of ribbon to make each bow. After Leanne has made all the bows possible with the ribbon, what length of ribbon in yards will not have been used to make bows? Okay. I'll tell you what I'm thinking here. This is a remainder problem. It's asking how much will be left over. You're going to keep doing something, you're going to run out of it, and you're going to have a little bit left. As in, you need to use a fixed quantity of this resource, but there's no certainty that you're going to use exactly that perfect amount and run out of it right when you finish the last thing you're making. Like paint. How often is it that you use the last drip of paint from a paint can right when you finish that room you're painting? Of course not. You either did not buy enough paint, in which case you'll go out and get more paint, or you bought more than enough paint. The probability that you bought exactly the right amount of paint is very slim. So that's what's going on here. So she is, let's see, she has 6.5 yards of ribbon. So 6.5 yards of ribbon. And she is going to be using 3/4 of a yard of ribbon per each bow, okay? I could divide this by 3/4 right off the bat. I could do that if I wanted to. Or I can use dimensional analysis, which might be fun. How would I do that here? Good question. Well, I put ribbon over 1. We have this conversion rate here. 3/4 of a yard of ribbon for every bow. So we have yards of ribbon up here. We want to put it down here. So we'd say 3/4 yards of ribbon for every one bow. And as we multiply across, we will end up taking this and dividing it by this. So what we have here is 6.5 divided by 0.75, which, according to my calculations, is something. It's going to be, I believe, 4. So 6.5 over 0.75. It's going to be 4, which means 1.5. So 2 of it is 1.5. No, it's going to be 8, rather. 8 gets us to 6, with the remainder of 0.5. I'm pretty sure that's right. 8 times 3/4 would be 24 over 4, which is 6. And then we still have this 1/2. Yeah. Yeah, so you just divide here. And what you get is that you can make 8 full bows. But when you do that, you're only going to use 6 yards of ribbon, which means you still have 0.5 yards of ribbon left over. And you don't have enough for an additional bow. You need 0.75 to make a bow. You only have 0.5 left over. So that is the amount that she will not use to make her bows. That's exciting. Good for Leanne. She deserves it.
Just how to approach these types and what types they are?
Very good. All right. These types, oh, geez.
So like
Resource.
and unit conversion.
Yeah. We got
what I commented just
remainder and unit conversion. This is like, oh, yeah. I mean, they do have a lot of these problems. You know, you're going to make a banner. You've got posters and all this stuff. What would you call this, Levi?
What?
Where they're using up some resource like paint, and they want to see how much is left over.
It's a remainder.
It's a remainder problem. It's a remainder problem, yeah. You got to figure out how many full units you can use, and then how much you'll have left over after you use those full units. And in general, what you would do is you take the total, I guess you could say you take the total resource that you have, and you would divide it by the amount per 1 unit. The amount per, I guess, object you're making. Amount per, I don't know, object. So in this case, we had 6.5 yards of ribbon divided by 3/4 yards. That's the amount we need per bow that we're making. That'll tell us how many of objects we can make. But it'll also tell us, if there is one, what the remainder is. So when you get a number like, 7.2, you have to find that decimal place, that 0.2, because that's your remainder. It's the stuff that's not part of the whole number. 7.2, you can make 7 things, but you have 0.2 left over. Sorry. Now, when you do divide this, you're going to get 8.667. Yeah, actually, that's probably an important thing to talk about. Let me see. I don't need my calculator. So in the course of this problem, if you take 6.5 and divide it by 0.75, yeah, what you're going to get is 8.667 bows. All right? Now, she can't make 2/3 of a bow. So what she's going to do is she's going to make 8 bows. And what you then have to do to backtrack is figure out how many yards of ribbon she'd need for 8 bows. And that's going to be 6 yards. So now you know, oh, we're going to have 0.5 yards left over. So probably should have specified, and I didn't. And I'm sorry. Sorry. The world's not perfect sometimes. But most of the time it is perfect. Ask anyone who lives in the world. Most people would say that it's perfect. Okay. Anything else, Levi?
Nope.
Very good. Let's see, what else do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do you like? Like coming home to a kiss? Something like you haven't done the complex coordinate one yet.
No. Where's that from?
It is from the ACT Discord.
Did it just happen?
Earlier today.
New.
Alright, then I will do it. What do you want to get married?
How long ago was it?
What's with you in the questions? It was today at 1 a.m. I mean, do we have anything else to do?
No.
Huh. I scrolled down and look what came up.
What?
This YouTube video link with Benedict Cumberbatch on it. Maybe I should
in the Discord.
press play. Press play. Uh-oh.
In this video, we
What's
will
going on here?
continue our official
Could this
AC
be someone
drawing a
else doing
line
what
like
we're doing,
two triangles here.
but just not being live in front of the camera? Alright, I'm done with this. Go back to this. Okay.
ACT Discord math.
Yeah. I believe so, my lord. Okay. What is the distance in coordinate units between 2 plus 6i and negative 4 plus 3i in the complex plane? If you have not seen the complex plane before, you are in for a treat. Complex numbers, they are mixtures of real numbers and imaginary numbers. 2 plus 6i is a complex number because it has 2, a real number, and 6i, an imaginary number. And when you have both of them at the same time, you call it a complex number because it's super difficult. That's not true. Okay. The complex plane it looks just like your normal run-of-the-mill XY coordinate plane, except for one huge walloping difference. All right. Your x-axis is your real component, and your y-axis is your imaginary component. So here's how this would work. X-axis is going to look normal, 1, 2, 3. Your y-axis is going to have eyes on it. 1 eye, 2 eyes. It's a full head's worth. 3i, 4i, and of course they go backwards. Negative I, negative 2i, and this also goes back. Negative 1, negative 2. All right. So the complex plane looks like. So if we're going to graph these things first, we have the point 2 plus 6i. Super easy. You go to 2. It's right here. You go up to 6i, which is a little bit higher than what I got to, which is probably around here. And you just draw a point there. So 2 plus 6i just gives you that 2 is the x value and 6 is the y value, essentially. But that's what that looks like. So I should probably just make this clear and go up a little higher. Okay, 5i, and there's 6i. So that's that point, and then we have the point negative 4 plus 3i.
Yo, when did that happen? When did R424 for the...
What?
Hey,
Oh!
was that just now? Or was it like a minute ago?
I believe it was just now.
Hey, what's
Hey.
up? Do you have questions?
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Hey.
just- hey.
Get out of here.
No, stay.
Stay. Stay. Sit. Here's your treat.
Do you have questions? General or specific? It'll be good if they're about the ACT, SAT, or Bird's personal life.
Ah.
It's very personal.
Last time I was here was before the August SAT. No questions, just tuning in. Hey, well, thanks. Don't mind us as we tune out.
Stop.
Sorry, distance. Now we're just finding the normal distance between 2 points. All right. Super easy. Super fun. All right. Don't even worry that there's imaginary components now. It's just about units, okay? As we know, there's the distance formula. We could use that. We could also do what I like, which is just make yourself a little picture with your right triangle, with your sides that are your y-coordinate distances and your x-coordinate distances. So between 3i and 6i, that's a distance of 3i, or just 3 units. That's what I care about. Negative 4 and 2, that is a distance of 6 units. 6 units right there. So we do Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to do 3 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c squared. 9 plus 36 is equal to c squared. And then we have 45. I took the square root and I added. So the square root of 45. Do you guys do any math 2 prep? Yes, we do. We do. We don't typically do it on the stream, but maybe if you're lucky, you can send us a question and we'll do it on the stream. We also tutor math 2. So if you're looking to get better at SAT math 2, send us a little message. We'll send you one back. We'll start a conversation. Conversation will deal with what you want to do with math 2 and how we can potentially help. And then eventually it'll get down to, you know, if you want to do it or not. And then we, you know, schedule a session. Let's talk about, you know, rates. It's you know, it's tutoring. You know, what do you want? But yeah, we do. To answer your question succinctly, like a succinct person would.
Ask us questions now on it.
Yeah, we got any questions? Or are you just wondering for the future? Because we love questions. Levi has actually like 1/16th question. So it runs in the family with him. We are family. Hey, I got all my things in me. Whoa, we are family. That's what we are. Get up, everybody, and scream. Good. Yeah, post them. Unless you're just saying will post, like a name, like William Post. Do you know any William Posts, Levi?
No.
Do you want to?
Yes.
That's good. We can work with that. You don't know any William Posts, but you want to. It's very optimistic. Yes. There we go. There we go. Levi, let's make an Instagram ad before the ACT. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Very good. Oh, is that the apartment spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I'm gonna erase this if that's cool with you guys. I don't think we're gonna need this ink anymore. A line has parametric equations x equals 5 plus t and y equals 7 plus t, where t is the parameter. Slope of the line is very good. Yes. Okay. I don't know how much you know about parametric equations, but you graph them on the coordinate plane like usual. The thing is, x and y, instead of being directly connected to each other, are related to a third variable t, which you can think of as like time. It's almost like t equals 0 is where the graph starts, and then it moves according to what t is equal to. But what we have here are two equations. X is equal to 5 plus t, and y is equal to 7 plus t. And they want to know the slope. Okay, here's what you can do. This is kind of like a system of equations. They both have t connecting them. So if you just solve one of these for t, I'm going to solve this top one. So t would be equal to, I'd subtract the 5, x minus 5. And then let's just do a little substitution. Let's put x minus 5 in for t over here. So I'm going to have y is equal to 7 plus, and then where t was before, we're going to have x minus 5. Oh, I love this color. Okay. Now we have an equation with x and y in it. If we want to find the slope of that, we just have to put it in slope-intercept form, which it's almost in. So just some combining like terms, we're going to have x. We have a positive 7 and a negative 5, which is going to end up being x plus 2. So the slope of this is that coefficient, which is just 1. That is what the slope of this line would be. Not as difficult as it seems. You want to think about what this line actually looks like. Does it matter what x is assigned to it, y is assigned to at the start? What do you mean by assigned to? like what point we're starting at, or because these are the general equations that they generalize what x and y is for any t you'd want. T doesn't have to be time. I like to think of it as time. You can go backwards in time if you want. So like t equals 0. When t is 0, we're at the point 5 comma 7. So 5 comma 7. So that's 5, that's 7, and that is t is equal to 0. When t is equal to 1, like x equals 5 plus t, can it be y equals 5 plus t as well? It's 5 plus t. Okay. So you're changing this equation by putting y into that, which is not what the equations were that they gave you. If you were to, so I'm not sure why you think, like, that's what the question gives you, is what x is equal to and what y is equal to, so you can't just switch them like that. As it turns out, if you were to, you'd still get the right answer, but that's because the slope of both of these compared to t is 1. So you got 1 over 1. But either way, you should not switch them. They share t, and I think of t as like a bridge variable, which allows you to perform a substitution. Because if you can get an equation with y's and x's in it, I mean, one thing maybe you're thinking about is like if you were to go with this one instead and solve this one for t. So t is equal to y minus 7. And then if you take this and you plug it in for where t is up here, you could do that. You're going to end up with the same equation, though, when you solve for y, which is y is equal to x plus 2. Like when you do substitution, it doesn't matter which variable you solve for and which equation you end up plugging that into. There's a bajillion different starting points. But as long as you do it correctly, you'll end up with the right answer. So that's t equals 0. And then with t equals 1, we've now gone to 6 and gone to 8. So this right here. Okay, so basically what we're going to see is this kind of thing. It's like that's t equals 0, t is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this line does have a slope of 1. It's essentially, it's this line here. Y equals x plus 2. That's what this thing looks like. That would be 2 right there. And here the t's would be going backwards. That's -1, that's -2. Those are the t values. Does that make sense? So you can't just switch x and y. Good. Good, good, good. Do you have more questions? We're starving for questions, essentially. A few more. Yes, give them to us. Give them to us.
I will do the next one, Bert.
Okay. You want me to check over the apartment calcs while you're doing that?
No, I'm going to look at my email.
Okay.
Go. Just go.
What am I, like a dog you're trying to get rid of? You know they're coming for me?
No, just move the thing.
Yeah, Discord would be great.
I'll be up here while we wait. What do you think about that, Bird?
I'm totally fine doing that.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Do you want to do one more problem?
Yeah. Hey, R4, we're just going to do one more problem, so pick your favorite one. You just do a parametric?
Yeah.
Cool.
That sort of thing.
Notice how much attention I paid to that entire process you did.
Oh, Levi.
Up here, waiting for Math 2 stuff. I haven't tutored somebody in Math 2 in a while. Brett, did I tell you that I've actually only tutored kids who got an 800 on their first diagnostic test for me?
In Math 2?
Yeah. I tutored 3 kids. All of them got perfect scores on the first test they took. And
so
then,
these are the kids that do not need tutoring whatsoever.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, why don't you do one next week for next week as well? We went through like the 3 or 4 they got wrong. The next week they all came in with like 2 wrong, and I was like, okay, leave early.
Yes.
We'll do one more session. We did one more session. All of them got 800s, and
Yeah.
I wasn't useless. Like, I think we made sure that they were going to be fine, but if they had done those practices on their own, they would have been totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that goes to show your effectiveness as a tutor. You're so
I didn't
good.
screw it up, which is more than I can say about myself. I don't know what that
Screw up.
means. Yeah. For some real number t, okay, the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence, okay, so real number t, we have an arithmetic sequence that is 2t, 5t minus 1, and 6t plus 2. So this is number 1, term 1, term 2, and term 3. Okay, what is the numerical value of the fourth term? So, what goes here? My guess is we have to solve for t. There is an arithmetic, so this is an arithmetic sequence, which means we need to add, in arithmetic sequences, is it r that you add, or
Common
is it
difference,
d?
D.
D, okay. So you're adding d here, right? That's what's going on. You add d to get from the first term to the second term, and you could feasibly use any variable you want here. And then you add d again to get to the second term. And then you will add d one more time to get to the third term. Now, we've added in a second variable, which does create a bit of a snafu. So we need to figure out two equations to use these two variables. Or maybe you can make the logical leap and only use the one variable the whole time. You don't have to. I'll explain that leap that you make when I'm doing this system of equations. So the system of equations is, well, the first one is 2t. If I add d to it, I'll get 5t minus 1, right? The next one, if I start with 5t minus 1 and I add d to it, I will get 6t plus 2. Now I have my system of equations and I can solve it. I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm going to subtract this entire thing from this guy. That way the d's will cancel because I don't care about what d is. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so that's one way to do it. And let's just do this real quick. We will get negative 3t, plus 1. This becomes 5t minus 6t is negative t. That's ugly. And then negative 1 minus 2 will be negative 3. So let's add t to this side. We get negative 2t equals negative 4. So we get t equals 2. I mean, yeah, whatever. Okay, so t is 2. So that's good to know. And then if we have, so this guy will be 4. We know the numerical value of the first term is 4. The numerical value of the second term is 10 minus 1 is 9. So we're adding 5. So this must be 14. Let's double check. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 2 is 14. So we're adding 5. This must be 20. So that's one way to do it as a system of equations. This is slightly slower than realizing that, well, whatever we add to this, we must also add to this. So the difference between these two is equal to the difference between these two, which means that 5t minus 2t equals 6, this guy. It's basically this guy minus this guy equals this guy minus this guy. You could do it that way. So you could say, and then you don't have to deal with d at all. So you say 5t minus 1 minus 2t. That difference must be equal to the difference of the others. So that's 6t plus 2 minus, parentheses, 5t minus 1. And then you just solve that single equation. Either way will work. Oh, so subtracting them works as well. Yes, exactly. You're adding d. I use d because I like using systems of equations even when it's not absolutely necessary, because I like equations representing everything versus having to do the logical leaping of, okay, well, the difference here has to be equal to the difference here. So that's very scary.
It's a chicken. It's not scary.
It is. Well, it's not a real chicken.
How do you know?
Yes. Okay. So that's the last question for tonight. Sorry I didn't get here a little bit earlier, R4, but we will be back tomorrow night.
Big time.
Same time, same place. so we're gonna call it for tonight because we're trying to stream for the SAT and ACT specifically. Nobody's here tonight, probably. Yeah, no problem, R4. Come back tomorrow for sure. We're doing 7:30 to 9 now p.m. and I think we're losing some viewers because the school year just started, so people are dealing with that, and schedules are very up in the air, and hours just changed. So we will be back tomorrow. Have a lovely evening.
You're the best.